Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome to This Is Football. Welcome to another Liverpool related stream, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. You know, sometimes, before I even say anything, I just want to say, sometimes as content creators, the guy who I'm about to invite on is also a content creator. You know, sometimes as content creators, we get blamed a little bit. Oh my God, why do you guys talk about the same topics? Oh my God, why do you guys, not find something new to talk about? And I'm just sat here like, you do realize that the club is doing the same stuff over and over before I'm doing the same stuff over and over again. Is it my fault that Fenway Sports Group is doing the same stuff they've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years? What do you want me to talk about? The thickness of my eyebrow? Is that what you want me to talk about? Unfortunately, Fenway Sports Group are still our owners. And unfortunately, they're still doing the same stuff over and over again. So unfortunately, we have to address their bullcrap. But there's a new update. There's a lot for us to talk about. It's not just us repeating the same stuff over and over again, because we've got twists today. We've got different things to speak about today. And for all the have you ever been to Anfield merchants, today, not only am I bringing someone who's been to Anfield, I'm bringing on someone who is actually 5 minutes away from Anfield. Unlike Turbo Will Tommy, who lives in Garston, about half an hour away, James Redmond is actually 5 minutes away from Anfield, and he goes the game, and he's still FSG out. Of course, joining us on the channel is the man, the myth, the legend, the icon himself, the icon of Liverpool YouTube, man like James Redmondinho. How you doing, bro?
Bam, bam, bam. I'm even better to be here. I feel like I belong on this channel, whereas I go on other platforms and I feel like I'm just instigated straight away. It's like the worry that I'm going to cancel them or something, you know what I mean? Whereas this channel, I'm getting right stuck in there as well. Happy birthday to Tom, first and foremost.
Happy birthday, Tom. Little comments. Make sure you're wishing him happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Tom, as always. Also, I want to say...
the comments. Want to hear the worst part? Happy birthday, Tom.
Happy birthday, Thomas. I do want to clarify, we need to smash those likes because I'll be honest, we've aligned ourselves on the front line to do this YouTube thing every single day, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, okay? I've been doing content creation since before we were doing bad on the pitch. So, like, listen, guys, it's not just a case of wanting to be negative, okay? There's two options in life. You've got positivity, you've got negativity, and there's very rarely to be in between. Usually it is one or the other. It just depends how far one way or the other you go. We don't make our conclusions off of agendas. We do not make our conclusions for view. My most viewed video is me saying Mane's the best player in the world. Don't bullshit me, okay? This is actually quite a hindrance to us. Minimises opportunities. Gets top reds calling us negative week in, week out. We could go with the safe answers. But if we see a greater problem, it's going to be called out. So just know that's what this stream's going to be about. And if you don't like it, smash a like anyway. Yeah. That was my
I always tell the guys this thing, and I feel like they think I'm lying, but honestly, for Liverpool fans specifically, it's actually genuinely better for you from a monetary perspective and in the long run to just be positive. Honestly, I genuinely believe it. Like, and by the way, the time that I made the most money in the quadruple season, when I said we're gonna win the Prem and win the Champs, and I was extremely positive, bro, that was my most viewed videos. That was my most and most super chatted videos as well. Like, it's people really think that we need negativity for some sort of reason. We really don't.
Husam,
but unfortunately, the club puts us into this position.
We live in a negative world as it is already. It's already negative enough. We don't need to make it more negative. People don't just get drawn towards negativity. They see it in politics. They see it in everything. They'll even see it in football. Go on Twitter. It's the worst place for football, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like there's no real incentive for us to do this. Besides, maybe we just believe what we're saying. It might be an agenda, but it's a truthful agenda, and I'd rather be truthful than just blindly faithful and positive, especially in football terms. So no, I think it's important to call out the stuff, especially if you notice it.
And look, speaking of, there's two types of people. There's people who like the video. There's people who don't. There's 300 people here. Minimum 50%. Haaland conversion rate. Slap the like button right now. Subscribe. Before we get into the topic, I want to thank Sister Roz for the 2 super chats she sent in before we went live that I cannot put up on the screen. I apologize, Roz. So I'm gonna have to read it verbally. FSG out, every comment I post will start with that. And then she sends in another super chat. FSG out, Liverpool fans, it's time to make a statement. Support your team with your heart, but don't spend your cash. Don't go to matches and don't spend it on merchandise. Hurt them financially until they go. Sister Roz is really passionate about the message. I'm going to discuss that now in a second.
The way someone said in the comments, positively piss off. That makes me laugh. That's the way we can summarize it. I am positively pissed off. Anyone who calls me negative, I am positively pissed off. Okay, do one.
I'm actually gonna steal that. That's a good line. That's a
great line. That's a great line.
That's a good bar. Goes to say something when people in Boston hate the owners of a huge franchise in Boston, FSG out. The Boston Red Sox are actually a global franchise, and their fan base want John W. Henry out.
They hate
for some reason.
It's different. That matters.
I don't understand. Like why? Like Boston Red Sox, massive globally, and people want them out. Like it's just, I don't get it, Shane. But I'm gonna say thank you, Shane, for the super chat. Big up to you. And look,
Shane, by the way, I've got to give a shout out to Shane every single time. He's so like he agrees with both of us. He's on the side of FSG, bro. He's just such a G, and yeah, just such a legend as well. Even the way he's supporting this channel, it's boss.
W for you, Shane, man. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up to Joe, who says it's clear where this is going. No third bid yet, and looking for alternatives 8 days before the start of the season. No bench. Lose Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, Kone, Mac, or Salah for any period of time this season. It is over. FSG, says Joe. You know, Joe.
You're damn right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The only thing that I don't agree with in that entire super chat is Lavia. But me and James are going to discuss this in depth now. So stick around, because the stuff that you're saying about the injuries and the poor planning is probably why we're pissed off more than anything this summer. How poor the planning has been as an institution. Even if you don't want to single out FSG alone, as an institution that they're responsible for, the planning has been horrible. Big up to you. Don calls that, says, Don Husam, at this point you might as well have FSG sell the club to Ryan Reynolds and FSG purchase Wrexham with their spending power. That would make a whole lot of sense, you know? The stuff Ryan Reynolds been saying, he's like, oh, we're just giving the manager what he needs. He's like, I don't understand football. I don't know none of this. I'm just giving the manager the money. We're like, we need some of that. Low-key. Low-key, we need some of that.
That's right. I'm not going to lie. Ryan Reynolds will find a way. Bro, I've watched that Wrexham documentary, bro. Ryan Reynolds is a ballsy prick. Like, if you amplified his money, he would spend more money than FSG. Like, if FSG didn't have an entity like what they do, Ryan Reynolds would shit all over them. Like, watch Ryan Reynolds be a better owner than FSG in the next 10 years. Just watch it happen, chat. And don't call me Mr. Matt just because I predict these things, okay?
Big up to Zlatan. Listen, big up to Zlatan, Joe, Siddy, Skyrim, all the guys who sent in super chats. We're going to address the rest of them in a second, because we've got to get into the topic. Yeah, as I said, make sure you're hitting the likes, make sure you're subscribing. And Sister Oz, once again, I apologize. I can't put it up on the screen because you sent it pre we went live, so I had to go to the earn section to read it out for you. But
I love the agency of someone sending super chats before a stream. I think that's like proper support. Like, they're not even bothered if it goes on stream. It's just like, there you go. Like, just read it.
Big up, Sister Oz, man. That's done for you. So speaking of poor planning, speaking of FSD, speaking of all the BS, Mr. James Redmond.
Husam, I've just had the FSG in lawyers on my stream then. Zubairi was one of them. He came on and he was, he was saying, oh, there's taxes, dude. Nah, he's cool, Zubairi, lad. I don't even want to mock him like that. He actually made, like, as far as an FSG inner can be, he made stronger points than what FSG typical casuals would make, if that makes sense. Like, he went in a bit more detail, finances. He did not win me over at all. And I'm actually very encouraged to see you and him have a discussion. And I think the chat would love to see that as well. They were mentioning that, Jordan. But that's a side note. On my opinion, like, believe me, bro, after the conversations with this dude, if he couldn't change my mind on FSG are fucked, essentially. So yeah, let's get ready. Let's get ready.
So talk to me about this summer then. Just talk to me about, like, what strengthens your FSG out sort of idea this summer, because I feel like this summer's probably proven it more than any time ever before.
Yes. So here's one thing I'm going to say. It's incorrect when people say they don't have agendas. Everybody has an agenda. Some people are truthful about their agendas and some people are dishonest about theirs. And that's why I'll sit here and say my agenda has been and constantly been, whether we have been winning or whether we finished 5th last season, it has been, I am fearful of this ownership. I don't think this ownership can maximise our circumstances. I think with a manager like Jurgen, I would argue we've underachieved to some degrees. I would also argue if he had amplified resources, which I think was at the helm, he would have done better. And I have also conceded that if somebody could provide me some sort of evidence that suggests FSG cannot categorically spend more than what they have, because I've got my other reasons for hating FSG, but this is purely transfers, which is what you've asked me about. If you can provide me evidence that suggests this is the reason why FSG cannot spend no money, and that evidence is involved with things like, okay, they've got themselves into I don't know, anything can happen, like politically or whatever, something that means they can't spend money, and it's not their fault. That's the second thing I've got to identify. Not only, okay, if they can't spend money, why can't they spend money? Is it their fault or is it someone else's fault? And if you can somehow prove to me it's not their fault, that's when I'll sit there and go, okay, Husam, we actually, like in this instance, we need to chill it. But that's not been the case. In fact, it's been far from it. And I went into this summer with the agenda. They are not going to do what I deem necessary is going to be needed. And I actually thought we were going to do better than what we have done. Not what I think we needed to do, but I thought we were going to do better than what we have done. So still, they've underachieved massively for me. And not even, I set an expectation based on what I know they usually do. But this time I was thinking, we've got Europa League, even the Fabinho and Henderson sales. I was thinking that's definitely the reason why I was so for Fabinho and so for Henderson going, Husam, is because I was so certain they were going to be replaced. I don't understand even how dickheads like FSG can sit there and not replace those two players. Even if you just replace them with one dude, I think that's achievable, and I don't think we're going to do it now, which is wild. Because we were already linked with Lavia before they went. So who's the guy who's going to replace them? Because Lavia weren't going to be the replacement. You can argue a long-term replacement, but still I don't think that's good enough. So my summary on the window so far is just poor, brother. I mean, Szoboszlai, great. McAllister, great. That's actually not the problem. As far as the signings we've made, it's 100% success rate. But there's so much more that needs to be done. And I think that's what's going to be our hindrance.
And you know what it is? I always say, look, I'm still not really even worried about the Lavia situation. You know that? I'm pissed off not because of Lavia. I'm genuinely not even pissed off because of the whole Lavia situation. I really believe, I'm going to say this publicly right now, for maybe the 4th or 5th time in a row, despite whatever I get told in the media or you get told in the media or anyone in the comments gets told in the media, I'm really not worried about Romeo Lavia becoming a Liverpool player. I'm genuinely not. I'm saying this from the, genuinely I'm saying this. I really do believe Romeo Lavia is going to become a Liverpool player. But you know where the issues lie? The issues lie in, it's not even a Lavia thing. I wish this was the thing where it's like, you know what, James, we've got a ready-made team and all we need is Lavia to walk in through the door and we're about to kick everyone's ass. That's not the case at all. That's really not the case, because you look at the midfield, and I use this example because it's so potent and strong. It will make you understand where we're at currently as a football club. Right now, everyone, there's something called reliving a moment in the past. I want you all to relive a moment in the past. Relive the moment in which Alexis McAllister went down for 30 seconds against Bayern Munich. That's all I want. Just think about it for 30 seconds once again. Just think. Do you guys remember Alexis McAllister went down for 30 seconds? If you do, that sinking feeling that you got as soon as one guy just went down for 30 seconds tells you all you need to know. And the reason why I say that,
we shouldn't have that fear. Because if De Bruyne goes down, if De Bruyne goes down, Bernardo Silva's coming on. That's the difference. You know what I mean?
Thank you. And that's my point. As soon as the guy went down for 30 seconds, we all thought the season was over. We were all sat there like, oh my God, McAllister's injured. We're screwed. We're going to have to rely on Thiago, who's never fit, or Curtis Jones, who's inconsistent. We got to a dead end, man. Like, how are you so reliant on one guy? And it would be the same exact feeling for Szoboszlai, which shows me that our squad is not deep enough. It's never been about Lavia. The problem has never been Lavia to begin with. People think it's a Lavia thing. It's not a Lavia thing. You know what? Let's all assume Lavia is a Liverpool player. And then what? And then what? We clearly need one more midfielder at the minimum. We clearly need the centre back because the space left behind Matip against Bayern, you could do a whole skateboarding park over there and you could skateboard, you could jump up and down and do tricks like the old Tony Hawk game that we used to play on the PSP. You could do all of that in the space Matip left in behind him. So it just doesn't work. It really just doesn't work. And you're sat here going like, okay, give me Lavia, but then what? And the thing that's pissing me off the most, because it's been such a long time since the whole Lavia thing started, they've almost like cut off the buzz of us signing Lavia to begin with.
Yeah, because it's going to happen, but but now it's like we've known it's going to happen.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, Lavia's coming. Like, okay.
Do you know what, Husam, as well? I'm agreeing with you on the Lavia thing now a little bit more, because I think it's a huge play when Klopp is a big fan. And everyone likes to talk about, oh, Klopp has control. So when a transfer goes wrong, you've got to blame Jurgen Klopp. But he really wants Lavia. The club have been openly wanting Lavia as well. They've been open to getting him. But yet they're willing to let someone like Chelsea swoop him in over 5 million. Because that can happen. Okay, personal terms are agreed. Nothing's on paper because nothing's been agreed with Southampton. So personal terms can be agreed. And I think they are agreed. But they're only agreed until another club comes in and says, in fact, you know what, we'll take you. Because we can't get Caicedo. So you know what, we'll take you. Because we can offer you more wages. And guess what limits that? If we'd already got him. So we're now waiting out on £5 to £8 million on a player who's long term anyway. I'd understand if this was a 32-year-old stopgap signing, you know? I'd understand that if it was like a 30.
This is a player who's going to be our DM for 10 years, possibly.
Bro, we're trying to save pennies in a market that's not going to even be infected in a few years. There's going to be inflation through the roof. It's not going to matter if we save 3 to 4 million. And plus, that all those additional stuff is add-ons anyway. So the club are just really being nitpicky, and I think getting the details over is just taking its time. And the reason why
it's 19, James, which means he could play well for the next 5 years, and we could sell him for 150 million.
Your priority signing is so young, where you've got to still get him into his peak first. And then when he gets there, that's when you worry about keeping him on the contract and all these things. I just don't get it, bro. I really don't get it. It's wild to me. Now that I deep that, it makes no sense. Like, I'd understand if it was Amrabat and we were trying to save like 4 or 5 million because he's a bit older. But Lavia, this future-proof, he's likely to be sold for more than that. It's wild, bro.
And you know, comments like this from Phil piss me off. And I'm telling you why it pisses me off.
No, I don't like these either. I'm not
because your idea...
It actually took less than that, by the way, because... Sorry, you go, Husam, you go.
The idea is so out of context. It's bizarre how outside reality you are. The first three rebuild involved Martin Skrtel, Kolo Toure, Nathaniel Klein, Alberto Moreno, Emre Can was our best midfielder, 35-year-old Lucas Leiva, Henderson and Milner. We had no Salah, no Mane, no Firmino. We had Origi. Our winger was Adam Lallana. We had Simon Mignolet in goal. Now let's look at our current team. Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Konate, Robertson, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Thiago, DM, Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, Nunez. Does that sound like the similar rebuild to you? Or are you just here to just try make it out like it's normal for a club to wait 4 years to win a league title with a team like this? Rebuild makes sense. Go on, James, go on.
Do you know what as well? The reason why that's, and I don't think he intentionally meant it, but FSG inners, when they, or even if you're an FSG outer, but you're trying to defend FSG, they'll give disingenuous point of views, and that's disingenuous because the rebuild supposedly took 4 years, but Husam's just named you like 5 to 10 players who was involved in that rebuild, and the players that actually improved us in the duration of the first 4 years was from when we sold Coutinho, actually. That's why it's disingenuous, because the first 3 years of the rebuild, you could actually say, was a failure in some ways. And then when we were able to get Alisson, Virgil, Fabinho, etc., that was when we truly elevated. So I'm not going to deny that we didn't improve in the first 4 years under Klopp, because I do think season by season we absolutely did, because we got top 4, like even in the first full season, which I think is huge. But in the whole, I don't think that's a completely genuine point.
Hear this, James. Hear this. Hear this. This is the squad that Klopp inherited. Mignolet, Bogdan, Ward, Klein, Jose Enrique, Kolo Toure, Lovren, Gomez, Sacco, Moreno, Cocker, Ilori, Skirtle, Flanagan, Brad Smith, Connor Randall, Milner, Coutinho, Lallana, Henderson, Lucas, Emre Can, Joe Allen, Cameron Brannigan, Jordan Ibe, Kevin Stewart, Ryan Kent, Jordan Rossiter, Joao Teixeira, Sheyi Ojo, Pedro Chiravella, Christian Benteke, Firmino, Sturridge, Origi, Ings, and Sinclair. From that entire squad, no exaggeration whatsoever, I am genuinely not taking a single player other than Felipe Coutinho from that whole team. I'm just taking Coutinho from that our top goal scorer that season was Firmino with 10 goals.
I'm not going to lie, Kolo Touré would do better than all of our current centre-backs.
To be fair, that's a fair point.
I think Kolo Touré... Okay, I don't want to disrespect Kanate. Shout out to my boy Ibu, but all the rest, it's smoke. If Kolo Touré was on that pitch, it's smoke for you,
So this is my thing. When we want to make arguments, you guys, I don't mind people being FSG and I don't mind people disagreeing with us, but at least make logical arguments. Don't come tell me the first rebuild took 4 years. If Klopp had Kevin Stewart, I tell you it's going to take 4 years. But even Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones, that this fan base are a little bit split on, has more quality in his testicles than Kevin Stewart had in his whole body. So let's put things into perspective and stop chatting shit. So anyway, let me run through the super chat.
Husam, before you do that, is Joe Gomez? Sorry, is Mamadou Sakho better than Joe Gomez? Like, obviously not peak to peak, but like right now, like if you go off what Sakho was at around this stage of his career in comparison to what Gomez is.
Yes, I believe it.
Yeah,
honestly,
I agree.
I think Sakho of that season is better than Gomez of this season. This win is for the Liverpool country. How can we forget?
I was actually low-key devoed when he got let go. You know, I know it was because he pissed off Jurgen, weren't it? But I thought he was probably like I think if we had him in the Europa League final, it significantly improved our chances of winning that because he weren't available because of the fat burner stuff, was he?
Yeah, it was sad, man.
It was sad.
That final, I never forgive Alberto Moreno for it. Never.
What a goal from Sturridge, though, by the way.
Yeah. That game, man. I was so devastated. I really thought we were about to get Champions League football the year after. But hey, well, it is what it is. Big up to Joe, who says we have 10 players out, 8 players short. Who's coming off the bench? And juniors will be cut to pieces. Matip, Gomez are great. Will be holes in the defense and the midfield. Today, one of the top Reds' unbelievable argument was Matip and Gomez have got Champions League medals. His retort to Matip and Gomez being not good enough is
Gerrard has a Champions League medal. Are we going to take Gerrard back in the midfield?
No, actually, let's stay in the centre-back position, James. Let's go get Jamie Carragher. Do we need the centre-back?
Yeah,
he's got a Champions League medal.
Yeah, let's get Daniel Agger. He never made enough appearances. He should be signed. Yeah, Martin Skirtle's looking younger now than what he was in his prime, actually. How about we go and get Martin Skirtle?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's insane how like disingenuous arguments just make my blood boil. Big up to Wrong Skyrim says, I haven't watched you for long, but big up, brother. Always speaking facts, and I've never seen FSG Out people, so I don't know how you find them. I mean, Wrong Skyrim, first of all, I appreciate the super chat. Second of all, I can't lie to you. I think FSG in are now a minority, no longer a majority. And I think it's genuinely, I'm gonna just say the genuine, honest feeling what I feel. I think FSG inners are now just at a point where it's an ego thing. They just don't want to be FSG Out because they don't want to be associated with certain people and because they don't want to be proven wrong. But they know deep down that this ownership group cannot take us to the promised land and keep us at the promised land. Key note of that statement. Big up to you, Skyrim. Big up to City says, this has happened every single window since 2018. FSG can't be trusted. Alvarez to West Ham, Lukeba to Leipzig. I'm heartbroken. Things need to change. City, you know what's mad? I've always said, people always expect, speaking of disingenuous, that me and James Redmond go live on YouTube and go like, get me Mbappe. Of course we want Mbappe. We're not going to hide the fact that we'd love Mbappe to play for the club. But that's not what we want to happen with Liverpool Football Club. All we're saying is, if you want to do Moneyball, can you just do Moneyball correctly? Can you go get me 2 young 40 million pound midfielders and a young 40 million pound centre back? Me and James, if we were sat on the board, would give you about 5, 6, 40 million or less solutions in every single position that would help propel us to the top.
That's what we're saying.
That's asking for Zinedine Zidane reincarnated. Can we stop acting like we are? Can we stop acting like we are? Who have I spoken about this entire summer? Who have we all spoken about this entire summer? Fucking Kone, Thuram, Lavia, 30 mil, 40 mil, 40 mil. Like, whoever can people stop acting like that? They can't even do their own model correctly. Their own model. Imagine you go learn kickboxing and the kickboxing instructor can't kickbox. This is their own model, this Moneyball thing. And they can't Moneyball correctly. They cannot Moneyball correctly. And James just proved it to you when we were talking about Lavia. He's 19. So even if we buy him for 50 million now, if he becomes really good in 5 years, you could sell him for 200 million. So it matches the Moneyball shit anyway. So just get the fucking 5 million out your arse, John W. Henry, and put it to Southampton and let's get the player. What's so hard to understand?
We need more of like, this is why actually people seem to, their ears seem to go deaf when I mention good things about FSG, because I said the Fabio Carvalho thing. I don't think that was Klopp at all. I don't think Klopp ever wanted Fabio Carvalho, and I don't think that was a Klopp signing. I think that was very much a Moneyball signing, a smart one. I think the process of that is going well. We bought him for 4 to 7 million from Fulham, rising in add-ons. He's now out on loan at one of the best clubs in Europe in terms of, you know, building promising young players, and in one of the best leagues for promising young English talents. I know he's Portuguese, but you know what I mean. He's grew up here. So yeah, that's why I think to myself, do you know what? I think we've done well there. We need to do more. I think Ben Doak's another. I don't think Ben Doak's Moneyball. I think he can be Moneyball, but I think he's going to be the guy for us, to be honest. I think if anyone has that quality to replace Salah, I don't think he'll ever get the numbers, because Salah just gets alien numbers in, like even assists as well. But I think Ben Doak is that guy who can not surpass.
I love his mojo. I think he got the confidence. That's the one thing about
him. Against Bayern Munich, who just ran at them, was great. It's always premature to talk about a player like that, but I'm giving you examples of where I know FSG can do this. If they did this at a higher volume, then great. And here's what FSG inners will say: well, it's not them getting these players directly. No, but they employ the people to scout these people, and that's the thing. And they are the one who can allow X amount of finances into the club. And then when you want to break down the finances itself, it doesn't add up. So think about it, Husam. Nottingham Forest can go and spend 100+ million in their first season in the Prem because of the Premier League revenue, bro. I'm not asking us to spend hundreds and hundreds, by the way. I'm just saying, because of Premier League revenue alone in one season of promotion, they can spend that much money, and they've went and kicked on again this year. They're getting Ibanez, potentially. I'd take him from Roma. 24 years of age, 25 million euros. That's probably going to get turned down. So let's say it's 30, 35. Still a great price for a centre-back that we really, really need. And he's played on a European stage. Point that I'm leading to, we've been in the Premier League every year with FSG being here. Every year that the TV revenue's been there, they've got it. European football, they've been in that for every season pretty much since Klopp came in, bar one. That makes me think to myself, okay, then, well, we're getting the European revenue, we're getting TV revenue, and FSG in it before. A shout out to Zaberi. He came on and said FSG are good at, you know, making the fan base more global because of signings like Salah and Minamino. And I agree with these points. Salah's the #1 Muslim athlete in the world, as far as I'm aware. And then, you know, you've got Minamino, who is like, you know, huge where he comes from. So I sit there and I say to myself, like, do you know what? That's good. So the money generated from those share sales? Where is it? So where's the Premier League revenue? Where's the Champions League revenue? And where's the Minamino salary? So in your defensive FSG, you've now made me more curious. Where the fuck's our money? Because didn't we make the second most revenue last year, chat? I'm not being negative. I am trying to be balanced. Trust me. That's why I invited solely FSG inners on my stream before. That was it. Solely FSG. I said, if you've got a point to defend FSG, use it now. But honestly, I just don't get like how people.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Currently, at this moment in time, it makes no sense, because if you're being lied to 4 times, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's just use a relationship example. If your girl cheats on you once, it's her fault. If she cheats on you twice and you know about it and you're sat there like a simp, not leaving her, that's your fault. No longer her fault, because she showed you her true color. FSG have cheated on us time and time and time again. And just because 10 years ago we had Hicks and Gillett does not mean that there is no better owner in the world other than FSG. Because guess what? if James Redmond became owner of Liverpool Football Club, he would have technically saved us too, because he took over from Hicks and Gillett, who
That's
are
what
the
I'm saying.
worst
It could have been
owners in
anyone.
Premier
Could have
League
been anyone
history.
with 300k.
Premier League history, worst owners, Hicks and Gillett. Hicks and Gillett is like Mike Ashley level. So, like, we cannot use that as a reference point. Sorry. Big up to Vagabond, who says, the truth is Liverpool have targets, but not putting reasonable offers to teams. A lot of teams don't want to deal with us. There is the reverse effect, which people never talk about. People talk about negative precedences if we pay what a player is worth. Well, how about the reverse negative precedence, in which clubs would like to stop dealing with you because you lowball them so much they see it as a sign of disrespect? Is that not a thing that could happen? Of course it is. So that is the reality of the sad world of the transfer window. The opposite could happen, and clubs could stop picking up calls from a Liverpool Football Club because they know other clubs are going to pay more. But big up to you, Vagabond. Big up to Terry, who's also scows. FSG play the spin bottle with their system. Damn. I wasn't expecting that, Terry. I should have read out your super chat in my mind before I read it out loud. But big up to you anyway, my brother. And I know he's FSG out, so big up to you. Husam, FSG out, but Deadpool in. I've never watched Deadpool. I've never watched Deadpool, so big up to. Oh, Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds, is he not?
No, yeah, I was going to say you should watch it. You should watch it. Boss film.
Yeah, I should watch Deadpool. I haven't watched it.
Honestly, I'd recommend it. Great film if you've never watched it. I've watched it that many times now where I don't really watch it much more, but yeah, I'd give it a watch.
The last time I went to the cinema was probably 4 years ago. I haven't been to the cinema in such a long time, I need to go to the cinema sometime. Anyway, that's besides the FSG point. FSG, they're at fault as to why I've not been to the cinema. FSG, because rubbish Gerrard will never be him, says Michael. There's no need to mention Gerrard. He's an Ettifaq manager now. Let him live. Big up to Shane Almond. Big up to you, Shane. Hammers plus Ryan Reynolds showed more passion for Wrexham in an FA Cup game than FSG have for Liverpool in their entire time at the club. FSG out. You know what's bad, Shane? I can't lie to you. I don't even remember. The last time they came to a game was West Ham away and the Bournemouth game at home at Anfield. I don't remember them coming to any other game the whole year, which is, I don't think they have a hands-on approach at all with the football club. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. It's really scary. It's really scary. But big up to you, Shane. Ryan says, big up, brothers. I can't lie. All we hear is Liverpool like this player, but think he's not worth the price. Does the club just underrate every single player? No, the club doesn't underrate every single player. The club has a small, tiny budget in which they've got to budget a whole rebuild through what FSG are giving us, which is the.
And if we can't,
and he's giving a special message saying, by the way, big up, James. I remember meeting you at the ground when we drew 1-1 to Chelsea in 2021. Top guy.
Hey,
go on,
top man, big up yourself, sir. I hope I was sound that day, because I don't sound like I'd have enjoyed a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. I think I'd have hated that, to be honest with you. I was even just going to mention then, like, there's people in the chat and whatnot, and they'll say certain things about, like, why we come to these conclusions and whatnot. But like, you see in it firsthand now, chat, like, you've got to understand if it's okay, because someone said we spent 100 million, implying that we'd spent a lot of money. Well, if we only have 100 million to spend, which would be fucking ludicrous, we've sold 50 million worth of players. We mentioned shirt sales, we mentioned Premier League revenue, we mentioned European revenue. Okay, if we only have 100 million, that's weird. But let's say that is the case. Why are we spending that on 2 players when we know categorically we need to go and buy multiple? So like Husam said, me and him would go into the boardroom. We'd start scouting in Brazil and shit. We'd be looking for... There's this guy called Rondondo or something. He's
Redondo.
Like 10 million.
Hey,
yeah,
get
lads,
him in.
10 million, get him in. Go and get that Andre if he's 20 mil. Lads, we would find players for us because we need bodies, and you can find people with potential. What is Lavia? He has potential. Just because he's played in the Premier League, it's nice to know that he can do it. And he's got a lovely resume for a young player. Like, if you're going to look for a young player... And he's done it
against Man City, and he's done it against Liverpool, and he's done it against Chelsea, and he's done it against Arsenal.
Like, in one sentence, people will come out and say, like, oh, Lavia, he's not Premier League, oh, he's young, he's done it with Southampton. I'd sit there and twist it and say, he came right into the Premier League and smashed it instantly. Big performances against big teams. How boss is that? Because you wouldn't be... If a foreign player came and done well in the Premier League straight away, you're thinking, what a baller. But just because he's young, you're thinking he can't handle it if he moves to us. There's a reason why Klopp wants him, but the club need to give him the players that Klopp wants. And another good thing about Lavia, he's a long-term solution. So by the time Klopp goes, if it happens in 2026, he's an established first-team player at the age of 22, 23. That's boss. That's actually great.
100%,
So
100%.
it's
And
about
Lewis,
but
with
the
all
point,
due respect,
the point that I
Mr.
wanted
Carefree,
to
Lewis,
say,
you can
Husam,
keep Gallagher. I ain't trying to buy Gallagher. That's
Gallagher.
your problem.
Gallagher.
That's your problem, Lewis. Don't try bring your trash over to this house, my brother.
I'd
We
take
are
Gallagher
good.
for 10 mil. I'd take Gallagher for 10 mil.
They declined the 42 million pound bid. Exactly. Yep.
F that,
Yep.
bro.
I
F
take
that.
Gallagher for 10 too, but that's not the price they're trying to sell him for. You know, that's some of that. Those Chelsea guys. By the way, there's something I want to ask you about that I know is gonna make you triggered, so I can't wait to ask you. Read the Boston Globe article on FSG trying to use public tax money to fix the area around Fenway. 1.9 billion rejected. This is FSG. But you know, dirty Arab money Arabs actually built around Manchester, and they're building around Newcastle, and they build around every single club they buy, and they help the community, and they want to take the team to the promised land. But remember, Fenway Sports Group made their billions by selling Beatles CDs. That's how they became billionaires. Let's all remember that's exactly how they became billionaires. So they did it the right way, just like Liverpool are doing it the right way. You know. So that's
I want to read this article. I want to read this one that Joe's talking about. I want to read this one. That's an interesting
they're using taxpayer money to essentially build around the thing. I saw that as well. Big up to you, Joe.
No, but that's what bollocks though, bro. Like people, like that's what I'm saying. People will go ahead and have a go at these like Saudi people and whatnot getting involved. And like if you have your external reasons, if you think it brings bad, like fine, that's one thing. But like from a footballing basis, they're doing great things with their football clubs. Like even externally off the pitch, they're doing great things. And then not to mention as well, by the way, if we're going to base ourselves off morality, we should all probably fuck off our owners and get back to Football League 2, possibly even lower. Like morality in football has massively disappeared. So if you're going to hold the standards for one set of owners, it's very important that we do it for the other. And the more you look into FSG, I'm just saying you won't find.
Yeah, we can. You know, the thing is, because this is YouTube, like this is not like some other streaming platform, so we cannot go into detail. All I want to say is Google Standard Chartered and Google AXA, and you will get your answer. So
Thank you.
Big up to you guys. Morality, my ass, man. It's 2023. Morals were dead long ago in this sport. People that refer to FSG as our saviors are like from Stockholm. So, yo, that is crazy, Tyler, but so fucking true as well. I say thank you. Good to you, Tyler. A lot of people conveniently forget about the Super League or trademarking the city name. Hypocrisy and plain simple FSG Out. That's a W for you, Shane. That's a W for you, Shane, right there. Big up to you. And 100%. People might forget, but I will never forget. Never forget. So yeah, that's the thing. This is the guy that I think you were arguing with earlier on. I hope fans have the same level of demand to local governors and members of parliament. Counting FSG Liverpool's money and not your taxes is madness. I mean, first of all, I don't really support a sports institution in parliament or in government because that would make no sense. This is a sports football club, and the aim of elite sports is to win. And Zuberi, I know why you can't be FSG Out, but I won't publicly expose you like that, you know. And I don't want to start beef. I'm already beefing enough people in the Liverpool stratosphere. But here's the thing, Zuberi. The aim of elite sports is to win. The aim of elite sports is to win. This is not the Liverpool supermarket. So with all due respect, James probably gave you a respectable debate. You can shove your accountancy degree where the sun don't shine, put some water in it and drink that water, because I don't give a fuck about your accountancy degree. Why is every single Liverpool fan so obsessed with being the strongest accountant mathematician known to mankind? Screw your maths. Screw your accountancy. Look at Arsenal Football Club. It's not about Man City. Don't compare us to Man City. Arsenal have American owners. FSG's cousins own Arsenal. And if they spent so much money, you know why? Because they want to win. Look at FSG. Penguins, crap. Boston Red Sox, crap. Liverpool Football Club, crap. Also, Zuberi, with all due respect, John W. Henry is not going to shag you, and he won't let you shag Linda. So just take a step back let's just assess the entire situation. Just one more super chat before we just carry on. Mandy, who's a triggered United fan, this will teach you to mock United for wanting the Glazers to leave and taking all our money. And now you sit here crying over FSG. Welcome to karma. Mandy, I'm going to say
it's not even the same. It's not even close, by the way.
Because I'm respectful. No way my audio went.
Eric your audio went on.
Spent 400 fucking million and we're sat here haggling over 50 million pounds for Lavia. Just Ben Hag alone has spent 400 fucking million. You give me 400 million, I'd win you the quadruple. Give me 400 million now, I would win you every single competition I'm entering in next season, Mandy. So it's nowhere near the same. Bring out your Newton Heath Norwich scarves and go protest and leave us alone. We barely can afford our summer targets in the middle of a rebuild after promising war chests for 5 years straight, Mandy. So it's nowhere near the same to the Glazers. Thank you. Anyway, let me ask you a question, Mr. James Redmond. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let I tell you something, you fucking American, get the fuck out my club and go back to fucking America.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. James Redmond. Today, we were linked to the unbelievable. By the way, before I ask a question, 700 people are watching us at this time of the night, and you're not even liking the video. What's this behavior? Slap the like button now. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. 350 likes minimum, halfway line. Like the video now. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. We're going to read the rest of the super chats out in a second. Please do like, please do subscribe.
Big up to everyone for super chatting as well, by the way. User booming tonight. Big up chat.
W for you guys. Hello, James Redmond. Today we have been linked with a superb player. He plays for Leicester City. He goes by the name of Dewsbury Hall, my brother James Redmond. Liverpool Football Club are looking at Dewsbury Hall as the Henderson replacement. I want to cry. Talk to the people. Please talk to the people, James. I cannot. Can you address the people?
I did not want to buy a shopping hall. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like we bought some random location in the middle of fucking Dewsbury and just thought, yeah, let's whack FSG on there and let's be an investor. I can't be arsed with this shit, man. Like, listen, Lavia, I'm willing to do this because I think he's a good player with a great resume. Because I am about to use the championship argument, and yes, I'm very aware Lavia is a championship player, but I don't care that Lavia is different. Dewsbury Hall, I am more than fine. I am fine. He couldn't get into a dying Leicester team, and if he was in the dying Leicester team, he clearly didn't do fucking well. He's 24. He's now in the championship. I cannot be fucked with this shit. Get me someone with quality. There's plenty of players in South America that you could certainly go out and get who would be better than this option. Just to even, I mean, I do think he is a part of the merry-go-round, so I'm not going to get too upset over it. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be someone that we actually get over the line. But is it the player that we will get over the line? Absolutely. And listen, I am someone who has just kind of got to the point where bodies would be nice.
Not any bodies, though. There's still some shame, James.
No, well,
there's still bodies you walk away from, James.
That's right.
All bodies, brother. Come on, man. Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? All bodies. Come on, let's chill out, James. If you walk in there and you see some armpit hair, you're walking right out. Dewsbury Hall is armpit hair. Let's not do this.
Husam, I know you're a Muslim, so I know that you probably don't drink, bro. I drink. Sometimes sevens can turn into tens. Chat, if you drink, you know. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Husam. I know that was inappropriate, but I just thought I'd say, you know what I mean? Like, I get, you know, desperate times calls for desperate measures, brother. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things, like, you know, you're out in the club.
Because I've never had it, can it turn a 3 into a 10?
Absolutely. And I do need the chat to back me up on that, because I might sound like a crazy bastard, but chat, come on, that's a proper statement that I've just said, isn't it?
Dewsbury Hall is a 3. That's the problem. He ain't even a 7. He was a 7. I would have.
No, we are. Do you want me to tell you what Dewsbury Hall is? He goes from a Harry Winks to a James Milner.
Huh?
So, like,
the level of disrespect to James Milner. You comparing
no.
Onion
No.
crisps merchant from Leicester to him.
No. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying, right, that Milner is the 8 or 9 out of 10, and Harry Winks is the 4 or 3 out of 10. Dewsbury Hall is that, and then when I get drunk, he comes James Milner. I apologise for my poor banter, and sorry to James Milner if he's watching all the way from Brighton. But yeah, man, I'm good. Get me Lavia, get me Amrabat, get me friggin' Andrade, get me Rodondo. I like his name. It's similar to mine. Get me Rodondo. Yeah, man, just get me some
Andrade,
balls.
ain't that a wrestler?
What?
Isn't Andrade a wrestler?
Very well could be. But the dude from Fluminense who's playing in kickboxing matches in Brazil, listen, bro, like I just wanna get ballers. And Dewsbury Hall, he ain't no baller like that. I can't be bothered with another guy with a thing in his name, like Oxlade-Chamberlain and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Like, let me just stick with Trent. Fuck off, Dewsbury Hall.
No more hyphens. No more hyphens. I am so tired of this club, man. I'm actually tired of this club, bro. We're actually
we're
about to
just
play
signing Wi-Fi passwords now, G. Like, that's what we're resorting to, you know.
Hey, we're about to play Curtis Jones DM against Chelsea, and then people are like, "Be positive, back the lads." I'm like, "Bro, are you blind?" Like, what?
There's got to be something I'm missing. Like these young players, like Bezetic and Bendok and Cometio and friggin' fuck knows. But all these players have got to be world class. There's got to be something about these players that I don't know about. There must be, Husam. Come on, Husam. I'm actually trying to. Come on, FSG might not be doing anything wrong here. These young players might just be world class.
You know, first of all, Cyberzone just sent in the craziest super chat that I cannot read. Cyberzone. That will.
Nah, you've got to read it now. You're mad. Let me see it. Wait,
no, James, you read it in your head. Don't read it out loud. That will get me demonetized real quick. That is a wild super chat. Cyber, my brother. I will put it on the screen so you guys can. I cannot read this.
Get that off the screen.
Yeah, I have to say thank you, and I'm gonna just unstart it real quick, and I'm gonna move it on because that will get this channel cancelled. Bloody hell, he went there. Damn, people are that upset. I get that level of anger, to be honest with you, but still, like, let's chill out. Like, let's just chill out.
Even John, even I'm there for John. Like,
yeah, even I'm there. Like, yo, calm down. Like,
that's the most remorse I've had for FSG in a long time.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go there. Like, that is a next level thing. But you know, I hear you, but I disagree.
I feel your level of emotion, and that's probably as far as we go in that comparison. Cyberzone doing the cyberbullying. Shout out to Tyler Jones.
Oh my god. That was the craziest part, bro. He mentioned like real proper bad.
Oh no, he mentioned proper lads, he mentioned proper villains, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he went asked, no holds barred. Like, he never thought of like the Joker. He thought of like the real life versions of all these people. That's wild.
Lord have mercy on my soul.
Shout out to people watching over us right now who made sure that we never read out that super chat as well, by the way.
Yes, I cannot. So anyway, let me just ask you one quick question before we just run through the super chats and wrap it up, because I know we've got to go as well. I don't want to keep you up really late. So here's the thing. There has been, and you know, I don't know if you've met Kurdish or worked with him yet, but essentially there is a plan for another FSG Out plane protest. So it's a form of protest. I know you've probably heard of the first two. So what are your thoughts on it as someone who does go to Anfield, and like what do you recognize it as some form of protest at least?
Absolutely. I actually think it's probably the most action that I've seen it, and I'm very proud of everybody involved in these little, you know, the setups. And I understand some people can think and twist it and say, oh, it's an inconvenience, it's this, it's that, it's the other, and oh, it's not helping the players on the day. But guess what? When we left that game for Sunderland, and it was we were 2-0 up, we didn't help the team that day, but we had bigger fish to fry. We had a bigger picture at mind, and that's why we all walked out on the 77th minute. And unfortunately, the game finished 2-2. but we were just making COVID trendy in 2015. You know what I mean? Like, listen, chat, it was one of those things where I was so proud of the club that day, regardless of the result. Like, in fact, the result kind of was a little bit of a bittersweet taste. It was like, exactly, that's what happens when we're not there. So it was a bit more agency from that standpoint. And my biggest issue with Liverpool fans is you can say you're FSG out. A lot of people, the only way to really get this going is a collective voice. And you can't get a collective voice until people are doing this constantly and more people are doing this. That's why I maximize my platform to thousands, to let them know logically why I think FSG are probably best elsewhere and why we will be better with someone else. And I'm not doing it from a standpoint of, it's funny, you know, football fans from the heart, he keeps saying that I was FSG and you'll never find a clip. I encourage you. I will pay you money if you find a clip because I know there's not a clip that exists. He mentioned that I worked on Redmen TV. Of course, that's where it started and whatnot. I don't know about their relations between them and the club. I know they've got connections with the club. I never got paid from Redmen TV or anything like this. I was just cool with them. I did content with them. Don't compare me just because I was on there. Cool dudes, done some great content in the past, but yeah, no relation in terms of my standpoint. I've always been FSG out. At the height of our peak and our best times, I was FSG out. So yeah, like I asked for reference if that's okay, because I don't like slander on my name, and that's some real slander. We saw the names that they were getting compared to, you know what I mean, Husam?
That's a bad, definitely a bad.
Don't say I'm defending people like that. But nah, seriously, like there's so much more that I can go into about these owners, and to see people taking a stand, I think it's important. So all I encourage to the people setting it up is be strong, stay strong, keep going.
What would it take for an actual protest at Anfield to happen? Let's say similar to the United Liverpool one, you know, where they got the game cancelled essentially. Like, do you think it needs to get really bad before we get to that level?
Just find me reference football from the heart. This is the last comment I'll address from you. Find me a reference instead of being a liar, and then we'll address that. You know what I mean? But again, you won't find it, so keep searching, son. But now, what's it called? I will suggest this, and I suggested this on my stream. I would be very intrigued if I got John W. Henry, sat him down, and spoke to him one-on-one. And let's say if we had a lie detector, I would want to ask him one question. Are you satisfied with European football? I would say that. And if the answer was yes, I already believe that's the case anyway. I believe statistics show that we're just happy being in European football and getting the European revenue. But let's say he came out and said no, but he was lying. I would want to know what the reaction was from everyone. I really would. I'd love to see if everybody heard from the cat's mouth. I want us to be a European competing team opposed to the best team in the country. That level of transparency, I would be very intrigued to know how the fan base would react. And I think that would do a massive turn, because I couldn't imagine that. I remember how that interview, that apology went down with the fan base in the short term. If they admitted something like that we're not willing to compete and we don't have the standards of Shankly and Paisley, I think that will fuck some people over for sure.
You want to hear the saddest part of that apology? These guys are so sick in the head, they actually the color of the flowers to put behind John W. Henry, because in that apology video, and it was the saddest, most pathetic video, and they gave him a lumberjack shirt so he can feel more part of the people, you know, instead of him coming over there suited and booted. And it was so like reading off a teleprompter. It was pathetic. Anyway, let me just address these super chats before we wrap up, because I don't want to keep James for too long. There's still 700 people watching us even at this time of the night.
Smash
so please do
likes.
like the video.
Smash those likes.
Yeah, smash those likes and subscribe to the channel. Big up to Filippo, who says, think you'll get 2 mids. 50-50 on a centre-back, but the fact it's taken to this end is bad. City to walk the league. No one else is prepared. Salah, Trent, out. I know, Felipe, you want to buy Salah and Trent because you're a Bayern and a Newcastle fan, but that's never going to happen. So you can hold that respectfully, because you're never going to get them. Those are our players. Hold that. But big up to you for the super chat, though. Thank you. Big up to Tyler Jones, who says, I'm waiting for the spreadsheet before the season for the cover we have at all these positions that had Milner as cover for every position. That we'll see it. I wonder who's the new Milner, like who could just cover 100 different positions at the same time, because we don't have that anymore, Tyler. But those depth charts, Dan Kennett, so embarrassing. So embarrassing. He actually put Milner as backup for 15 different players. And it's the saddest depth chart I've ever seen in my whole life. Anyway, big up to you, Tyler Jones. Thank you so much for the super chat and your consistent support on the channel. Love, my brother. Big up to Haz, who says, why does Klopp hate Saka so much? I don't think it was a hate thing. I think it was more of a thing where it's like, you know, the guy probably did some sort of like disciplinary action. And that's probably why they moved on Saka. Because at the time, I'd say probably Saka was probably our best centre-back. Big up to you. Thanks to Rachidi, who says FSG equal rip-off concerning LFC, in my opinion. Like a dealer on the street telling you it's best until you smoke it. I've never been in that. I've never been in that situation ever before. I've never ever been in that situation ever before, so I don't know what you're talking about, Red Chili. But yeah, I understand what you mean. I hear you. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Thank you for the super chat. They are ripping us off, definitely. Okay, Husam. Lego man Lewis tried to rob Liverpool after robbing Arsenal of 65 million, Man United 55 million for zoo dwellers. Zlatan has made the best ever super chat. He said Arsenal paid 65 million for a giraffe when all they had to do was go to the zoo. And I can't lie to you, I'm not trying to sign Gallagher the donkey either. So I'm good, Zlatan. Thank you so much. And big up to who says, what's shocking is the lack of effort or ineptitude in recruitment. It generally seems they're not working hard, smart enough. No work at all on the centre back. Sidi, you know me. I've never been dishonest. I always tell you the truth and what I genuinely know. And I'm telling you right now, the centre back file has not been opened yet. We have not even opened the file and looked at the names, because our midfield is such a massive gaping hole. And that tells you how sad our planning is. Haven't we known that Lavia has been up for sale for 4 months? As soon as Liverpool 4-4 Southampton happened, he became for sale. So yeah, big up to you, CD. Felipe says that 5 million on Arthur could have been used for Lavia. It could have been. It could have been used for Lavia, and that's what happens when you panic sign. So yeah, that's you know, I'm a thank you, Felipe, and move on rapidly. The Football Corner, who's an Arsenal fan, he says FSG and come on, mate, no DM going into the season. And that's another point I use against FSGners. You know who else is FSGN? Man United fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, City fans, Spurs fans, because the thing that intimidates them the most is Klopp with money. Because they're like, if this guy took Robertson and Wijnaldum to 99 points, what the hell is he going to do if we actually give him some good players? And we ask the same questions. So they mock us by being FSGM. That's who you're agreeing with, Top Reds. Big up to Shane Allen, who says, please, I would love to go on stream versus Zuberi. I would do the same, but I don't think he's allowed to come on the channel with me or me on his channel because, you know, of certain situations. But Shane, I'd love to get you on if you want, if you know, if he accepts coming on the channel alongside yourself, Shane. So I love how Jamie came in with so much energy last time, but James just kind of handled him with ease. I just
love Jamie. I love Jamie. I do. I couldn't agree with any of those points.
But here's the thing: as much as you can blame Klopp for a lot, this summer I don't think you can. Full stop. This summer it's just a no-no. Like,
I've never made the claim that Klopp is free of blame. There's so many times where I'm pissed off with Jurgen. Really, really am. He's just not the top of the problems. And by the way, it's not even
this summer specifically. Nah, you can't.
Just put your energy in the right places is all I recommend. You know what I mean? And then we can talk about why those are the right places. But yeah.
Super Spurs says Dewsbury Hall plus you get Chowdhury for free. Nah, I'm not, bro. Listen, I don't drink.
Would you take Ndidi?
No. James,
bro, don't laugh. You do Sergio Ramos shouts and that, lad. You take
Ndidi. Sergio Ramos as a stopgap for Sergio Ramos is a Champions League winner. Who the fuck's Wilfred Ndidi, James? A guy who was big 5 years ago? Come on, man. Where are we going? Where are we going with
Isn't that Ramos though? When was Ramos like big? You know what I mean? It was at least 3 years ago
James,
now.
I offer you 2 midfielders and Ramos as a stopgap. You're saying that's a bad idea. That's Sergio Ramos.
I just don't get the Ramos shout. Nah, like
it's because he's a free agent and our owners are cheapskates. So I've got to do something.
Wouldn't be a good shout. You're on to that guy who played for, I believe it was Frankfurt. He was Asian. His name is Kamada. I'm not too sure. You're on. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. He's a mid. I think he
was a free agent who just recently went to Lazio. But yeah, he would have been somebody who I think would have been fine as like a sort of short-term solution, extra body type player. Kamada, that's his name, Kamada. But yeah, it's wild, bro. There's loads of free agents out there, which is weirdly enough. There's some decent.
Yeah, Sergio Ramos. Let's get him in.
Yeah. Someone recommended to me Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and I was like, nah, fuck that. I was like, that's just another guy.
You said no to Maitland-Niles, but you want Dewsbury Hall because of the bodies. Come on, man. Dewsbury Hall and Maitland-Niles the same level. Wait,
why are you misquoting me? Don't do that, Husam. You sound like that dude who was trying to say I was an FSG in it at one point. I never said Dewsbury Hall. I think I actually dissed Dewsbury Hall to many levels.
I won't even do that. I won't even do that because at this time of the night, I don't want to say anything wild. Greetings, Don Husam and Don James. Thank you. I spoke to some Red Sox fans in New York. They are not happy with FSG. Hashtag FSG. Yeah, they are not happy with FSG, and I'm glad that they booed John W. Henry, and I hope that no one accepts him, and I hope they hate the shit out of him, and I hope they fly planes of FSG out too. So big up to you, Mr. Tibzo. Big up to Scouser Doyle, who says John W. Henry is the type of guy to ask for a refund on a free meal. You could actually picture him getting a nosebleed when a low ball bid gets accepted. He probably gets the biggest erection. Like, he's like, oh my God, we've just signed McAllister for 35 million. Let's all have a celebration. Like, he probably celebrated that signing. He actually probably celebrated that signing just because, like, hey, we had a release clause. 35 million, my bro. We literally got McAllister. That was John W. Henry in his booth. Sat there like an absolute TWAT. But thank you, Scouser Doyle. Big up to Cyberzone, who says, I'd rather help guide my granddad to my nan than have FSG as owners any longer. I'm going to call this Cyber Friday, and I'm going to say thank you, my bro, for the super chat and for supporting the channel. But that is wild. That is real wild. Considering he probably
needs the guidance he needs, brother.
Well, big up to you. Vagabond is asking you, question for James. What's the mood in Liverpool about FSG, as in the city?
I don't think it's talked about. I don't think it's I think everybody carries on to the majority carry on to blind faith. And they've seen these small case studies of what we've done well and believe we can just do that again because it's happened before. Where there's somebody like myself, because I'm a footballing nerd and I look too much into football, I know that there's a bigger case study that suggests FSG is a problem. And there is signs right now that implies that it's going to be a problem again. Therefore, yeah, man, I'd be more reluctant than a lot of fans. I think a lot of fans are waiting to see, but I think a couple more years, and I think it'll be quite easy to on what side you'll be on.
Yeah, it's starting to change now. It's starting to change.
It is. And more years without success, for sure, it will change.
Husam, do you think we beat Chelsea with what we've got so far? No, because you can't beat anyone in the Premier League with no DM. We could barely beat people with 39-year-old Fabinho. So I'll be damned if we beat them with Curtis Jones as the 6. So if we enter that game with no DM, I'm predicting a loss from now. Big up to Mandy, who says, Husam, but you said Bellingham was come. And I was bald. I was a man of my word. I said, if he don't come, I'm going to shave my head. And you want to hear what's crazy, Mandy? If I asked Klopp at the time, he would have told you Bellingham's coming too, because he's the only player that's not contracted to Liverpool, that he mentioned his name. We all knew Bellingham was coming. It wasn't just me. It was Fabrizio. It was Paul Joyce. It was James Pearce. It was every fucker under the sun. But it's fuck Husam settings. I was bald. At least I did something. Why don't you go ask Paul Joyce to shave his head off? Big up to you, Mandy. Felipe says, James and Husam, where do LFC finish and trophies? I don't want to answer for James, but I think his answer is like mine. We have to wait till the end of the window. We cannot answer now, because if we address what needs to be addressed, I think our thing is going to change. As things stand,
right now, I don't think we're winning anything.
As things stand, I'd say probably 5th. I'm not even capping. I'd say maybe 5th, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's a good shout. I think we'd be fighting on a top 4 front. I don't think it'd be.
Worst owners, FSG or Levy? The fact that FSG and Levy are in the same sentence tells me all I need to know to begin with. Maybe they're not that great of an ownership group. If they were that good, they'd be compared to the City owners or the PSG owners or hell, even the Arsenal owners. So it's wild, AB. It's wild, AB. I've told Hamas that the apology video reminded me of the apology video BP did in the I have no idea how that's said, episode of South Park. I don't know what that is either. We're sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I'm onto the episode. Yeah. It's like a little funny bit inside of it. He has said that to me before. I chuckled when I heard it the first time. Do you watch South Park?
No.
Nah, I don't know if it'd be your humor, but yeah, give it a go, lad. You know what I mean? You might enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll try. Watch a few episodes.
Like, it's up John W. Henry Street. You know what I mean?
I think Sam Hames RKO'd, or I think it meant KO'd Zuberi. Used his own momentum against him and directed him to the exit. Did not know Hames was a master of... What the hell is Aikido?
I don't know.
What's that?
Aikido,
Like some sport thing?
Like, I don't
Wait,
know.
Zuberi was on your channel earlier on today.
Yes.
I need to go watch. I need to go watch it. I need to go
Go
and
watch. We debated for about 45 minutes. I mean, there was a few points that I wish he addressed more clearly. I feel like there was some where we kind of got off topic a little bit, and I was trying to make some bigger points, whereas I don't think he saw the bigger points that I was trying to. And if he was, I don't know if he was just scooting around them. At the end, he made an intriguing point about taxes, which I just wanted to hear his point of views on it, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see, because I knew that it probably weren't going to change my mind, and there's things that I've heard contrary to FSG making bad financial decisions, and that'll always stick with me. And these are reported decisions. These are on paper. Like, it's not like I'm coming up with this stuff and making it up myself. I haven't got that much time in my day. But yeah, I'd recommend anyone who hasn't watched it, go and watch it, because it was definitely fruitful.
And speaking of, James Redmond's channel is in the title. If you have not subscribed to James Redmond TV, what is going on with your life? You need to go subscribe to that channel right now before I slap the shit out of you. Thank you, Zlatan. Red Chili says, James Redmond send me. Big up to James Redmond. That's my brother right there. My brother. James Blood.
Red Chili. Nah, do you know Red Chili? He is a fucking boss gentleman. Like, he's amazing. Like, even when I weren't posting, he was still sending like super thanks and whatnot to old videos. It was wild. Cool dude, man. Cool dude.
Big up, Red Chili, man. My guy. W for you. And Skazer Doyle says, petition to allow Cyber to write the paid message. Listen, I would just say this, guys. The whole principle of us doing
plane will get shut down.
So it gets media coverage around the world, and we apply pressure on FSG. If we have Cyber put Mao Zedong in a plane against FSG, it would get us all ruined forever. Anyone involved in that would probably not be able to enter Liverpool, the city, going forward their whole life. So that is a bad petition, and petition refused, my guy, Scouser Doyle. Husam, you'll win the Europa. Don't panic. Mandy, I'm going to be honest with you. I genuinely couldn't care less about the Europa. I'm a 6-time Champions League winner. 6 times. You think I give a damn about Europa? I want that league, though. That's what I'm thirsty for, that league title. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here. This has been an absolutely elite show. Big up to everyone who's tuned in. Big up to everyone who's watched us. Big up to Shane, Joe, Sister Oz, Zlatan, Skyrim, Sidi, Doyle, Tibzo, Cyber, Spurs, Football Corner, Red Chili, Haz, Felipe, Mandy, Zuberi, even though you're FSGN, Mandy, Tyler, Ryan, Ramsey, Terry, Red Chili, and AR15 for the super chats. Big up to you guys. Make sure you're all slapping the like button. Make sure you're all subscribing. Tomorrow, we've probably got a Liverpool-related show, and we've got the Arsenal City Community Shield preview with combined 11s and all of that. So we've got a lot coming your way. So stay tuned. Hit that notification bell as well, because I'm very random. I go live whenever the hell I want. So please do like the video, subscribe. James Redmond, it's been a pleasure, my brother. Where can people find you?
And you say James Redmond TV on YouTube. That's where pretty much you're just going to see similar stuff to here. But when Husam comes over, I actually tether like really, really badly him in debates. Like, he just has no chance against me in debate. So it's one of those things. Like, if you want to see Husam get absolutely cooked, then yeah, you come over to my channel. And if you want to see other people get cooked, like Zuberi, then you come over to my channel. So yeah, man, big up to you, Husam. You're my G.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but that's the biggest lie ever. I'm undefeated in football debates. I'm not. You know, I wasn't about to end the video like that. Shane says, my first red fact and flag in FSG was when they assured us that they would be better than Hicks and Gillette. Good owners wouldn't need to do that. They would let actions do the talking. You know, just quickly, I want to give you the young men advice before we wrap up. If you're a man and you're speaking to a woman, don't ever compare yourself to one of her exes or compare her to one of your exes. Don't ever do that.
Especially the worst ex. Especially 100%. The worst one. Because the fact that you feel like you have to compare yourselves to them shows that you're probably a little bit insecure about your own stuff.
Yeah, you need to show her you're good for her. You can't show her that you're better than her ex. And the fact that Hicks and Gillette is a measuring stick to begin with, when they were one of the worst owners in Premier League history, is actually a sad representation of that the stage that we're in order to prove that FSG are good owners. Exactly, Tyler. Tyler is one of the guys who broke up with his girl to watch this channel more. Big up to you, Tyler. W for you, my brother. Anyway, we see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Peace out.